Let me tell you the story of today. Do I know why I have flashy flash on my screen? No, it's just very bright. What a flow about today. So we live in this world of ooh, ooh, are we in fight or flight? Are we in thriving? I have to be okay with being me. I have to be okay to step into my power and create a story. I have to be okay for the adventure of today and the ride, the whoop, whoop, what is going on? I don't know anything. What happened today? So I have responsible activities. I feel like I should just shut this off and try again. Okay. Fresh starts. April is all about death and rebirth. Some of my craziest epiphanies happen in March, and then April happens to be brand new and light and airy and fun. So I am always super stressed out in April because it just seems like January, February, March, April, like the crushing energy of December and the recovery of the death of last year and the new life of this year is like we played the game. The game's not fun. I don't want to play the game anymore, but I really love the game. And so the fourth year of business has broken everything, which is fine. So structural engineering of structure. We can create life in imagination. We can create life in religious, uh, I don't know, and we can create life in scientific terms. There's tons of ways to communicate language. So I had to get my insurance today. Do I have money? I have to be careful how I say this. So manifestation at low levels causes blah, but manifestation at high levels causes ugh. Part of the equation is to surrender and give control up to a universe that is kind, to a God that is kind. So trust in the universe, power and control, wealth. These are all theories and concepts that ride the wave. So I don't have money. I have a Visa card. Me and Visa best friends. Um, so I had to pay for my insurance today. And I know I'm gonna get that money. Where's the money? I don't know. It's part of the fun. So I had to go get my visa. So I had to leave my house. So I had to drive. I felt in the energy like, man, I wish I could just talk to my best friend. I wish that my best friend existed and I could just call him up and be like, yo, best friend, let's hang out. And my best friend didn't die. He just disappeared in the energy. He politely declined from the energy of me, which is totally fine. But now I have to be my own best friend. And what an interesting journey to love yourself is how I'm going to word that. So what does Lorette do? She talks to herself because I like to tell stories and sometimes we get to be in witness to other people's stories. So I was missing my own best friend and my neighbor is this really cute older lady and her husband just died and they would have had over 80 years together. Nope, that's not true. Over 60 years together. I think she said 67 years of being married. And she goes and she whispers to me, I knew him before I met him. And I was like, yes, queen. So true love. You're so excited to meet the one. And he's the one before he's the one, which is very exciting. And then the one dies and you miss the one. And I'm like, oh, sad face. So you can live in death energy, you can live in life energy, and you can be living, but you can be extremely sad and you miss connection with love, which I find fascinating. So here's me and my pity party, and there's this beautiful language of death and rebirth. And there's this beautiful language of relationships that have come to full bloom and have died. And so it was so sweet to talk to her because it was like she has a son and her son's like, oh, just come live with me. And she's like, I probably have to, but like I don't have children. So like where am I living when I'm 86 years old? Doesn't matter. I'm in this life right now. I'm living in this year. So I just have to enjoy the ride. I just have to enjoy the flow. And so I was like, what are you doing to play? Like, you don't get to play with your one true love in another form, but you get to play with you and your love and how you give and receive love. And you can be heartbroken and you're allowed to be heartbroken, but you're also allowed to love again, which is like really fascinating because it's really hard to tell a senior that, man. Like I got no right to say anything to death energy of the elderly. Like they've created this beautiful life together and then it dies and the memory is still there. And there's a sweetness to life, especially when you get older, that's change and renewal and like let's go on another adventure and like let's go find something else to love. Even though you're this alpha omega, got married, and they're the one true love, but like you get to love. So like sometimes your love goes away and that's okay. So like had a really interesting conversation with her today about go play. Go play. You are not dead. You have to live. Your one true love is still in you, like is around you. And then I went to pay for my insurance today and like forgot my insurance in my car. So I had to run out and get it. And like I had to make people wait in line. And it was just like, go with the flow, Lorette. So what? Like go with the flow. And okay, why is it so hard? So I had to pay for my AMA membership. Then I had to pay to register my car. And then I had to walk to insurance and get my insurance. That's 3 steps, not 1 step, 3 steps. That's 3 different payment processes, which like, ugh, so frustrating. Life is so frustrating if we make it frustrating. So while I'm paying for my insurance, I didn't even notice how tall this dude was. I just noticed he had something on his necklace. And so I don't wear necklaces that often. So I was like, what's on your necklace? And he's like, it's Thor's hammer. And I'm like, well, you can simmer down now. Like, I don't know what to say about that. And he was like, yeah, it's my brother's ashes. And I'm like, oh, we just went in a really sad story. So I'm like, tell me about your brother. And so he's like, well, he died when he was 16. And if I don't wear this necklace, he doesn't exist. So like, I need a form of him existing. And I'm like, that's energy and that's love. So I was like, I believe in eternal life. Where would he go? Like, where would he go after he died? And he's like, I'm not sure, but he was sweetness. So I know in this life, like after death and rebirth, he is another creation and he's like beautiful and soft. And I was like, oh, that hits me. And so he's like, I come from the lineage of Viking and like I got a soft spot in my heart for Vikings. And he's like, yeah, I'm from the Ragnarok generation before it was cool on Netflix. And I was like, yes. And I'm like, I have to tell you something. I am a writer and I write. And I'm the Viking princess. So like I know I'm from that generation too. We're probably soul family in another life. And he's like, oh, this has been a cool conversation. And I'm like, yes, there's such an intimacy with death to life. So like my first conversation with senior, she's like, I think we knew each other in another life. I'm like, we most definitely knew each other in another life. So there's such an interesting way that we create the world around us. And then there's such an intimacy with life and death and rebirth. That was just today. Like everything's different, everything's the same. Enjoy the journey. Like I did not know I was going to have 2 of these conversations today, and they were the best conversations. Sometimes the best conversations are with strangers. So that's what I learned today. That's my little what happened in the middle of April updates. Create your life and be diligent in loving, in learning and building relationships. If you're looking to talk to an employment specialist, that's me. I teach the theory, practice and choose your own adventure sessions. Life's really fun. It's really weird. And you really have to learn second by second is the best mind game. Like the holy wild of today and the blessing of who you are today is the happiness of how we create life. So create a life that you love. Challenge accepted. Have a good day.